So never done this before. I usually do all my recording in the morning, then go to the gym. Although I've been very clear, I watch Meet Kevin, Grant Stephan, Gary V, even some Ben Mallah every now and again. And across one of Meet Kevin's videos this morning. I think he actually posted it today. It's called Retire Rich in 9 Years. And he does a nice job he does a great job of editing his videos. He's clearly spends hours doing it. But um, I had some really big heartache watching that video. I think the message, I think the intention of the message, which was, hey, if you can be like Kevin and you can get there in 9 years. I think I'm going to say the intention was good, but I don't think it was. I don't know if it was delivered right or it hit the boat for most of the country. If it was, hey, I did it, you can follow too. If that was kind of the message, I don't know that that's. I don't know if it was delivered the right. And I think a lot of the points in that video, it actually made me stop my workout and come home and record this video to you. I have, not that you care, but I haven't even taken a shower yet. So that's how good. And also, I wanted to record this live, so it's just my thoughts. It's not edited, it's not put together. It's just, kind of a brain dump of driving back from the gym and giving you. I do have some notes just so I can get through it. But first and foremost, Kevin, if you ever watch this or anybody kind of sends it to you, I sent you this book, One Rental at a Time. I autographed it for you. I think I sent it to you like 6 months ago. And you were nice enough to come on my channel and do a great interview. It's one of my most watched, where you talked about going from Jamba Juice to real estate millionaire. So thank you for that. So this response video is really meant just to kind of tweak some things that I saw. First and foremost, as you know in this book, which I think you read, I'm not sure, I think you read, it talks about our journey to financial independence over 15 years. So when your 9 to 15 year video that you just talked about, we did it at the end of that. You did it in 9, it took us 15 years. So you absolutely can get to financial independence via buy and hold real estate, which is kind of how you started your video. But I think we've got to we all YouTube channels have to do a better job of talking about the rest of the country. In your video, for example, you talked about an $80,000 golden ticket like 5 times or 6 times. And then you talked about, hey, all you got to do is find an 80K golden ticket every year. Now, you and I happen to live in California. You and I happen to live in expensive parts of California where maybe finding a wedge deal, as you call them, and an 80K cosmetic fixer is possible. But you have to remember, lots of people watching your channel live in other cities where the houses don't cost 80K, or 80K is 50%. I think we're doing a disservice talking about Southern California cosmetic fixers and wedge deals. We need to step up our game and deliver messages that are receptive to the rest of the country. In my book, for example, I happen to live in the Bay Area, which is it's at least as expensive, if not more, than LA. I chose to live where I want, but invest where it makes sense. We invested in the Central Valley, Fresno, California specifically, where our first house was 107 grand. To tell me I'm going to get an 80K golden ticket when the house price is 107 is unlikely, not real, right? So I think we need to do a better job there. I really, there's not many people watching it talking about 80 grand golden tickets that are in markets where that's feasible every year, year after year, year after year. So that's the first thing. It's not about the golden ticket, at least not an 80K golden ticket. Second is, during your video, you talked about holding these assets with no cash flow. Are you kidding me? That is such horrible advice. And yes, it has worked out well the last 5 years. But as I wrote about in the book, which hopefully you read, I invested before the crash, where if you had negative cash flow properties, or what I call alligator properties in the book, you would have lost them. your golden ticket would have turned into lead or cancer or whatever bad thing you want to call it. And you would have had to start over or start from negative because your credit is messed up. So let's stop talking about equity being the only thing that matters. An 80K equity position could be gone like that. So let's talk about holding rental properties with real net cash flow. If we're going to get into this and the market turns, if you don't have real positive cash flow, it can take a little bit less rent, you're going to lose them. It's going to happen. I bought lots of properties from people who lost them because they were negative cash flow or break even, and they just didn't want to deal with the headaches of being a landlord. So let's not push that out there as a message. That one really hurt when I heard the video. And I actually rewind it to make sure I heard you correctly. Next up, you talked about 9 to 15 years. Is it possible? Absolutely. I do not think it's possible with negative cash flow properties or even break even cash flow because I believe in market cycles. I know you've only been doing this 5 or 6 years, but I've done it almost 20. And when markets turn, you're going to get hurt if you only have equity and no cash flow. So let's do a better job of talking about market cycles. Maybe look at one of your properties you own that you bought recently. Go back and look at it. What price was it in 05? What happened to it in 12? And what is it today? Now, I invest in California, so maybe it was 600 in 05, it was 350 in 10, and maybe today it's 700. I don't know. But you need to appreciate market cycles. Also, you need to realize that lending changes. To talk about buying a wedge deal or a golden ticket every year at 3.5%, yes, that's an owner-occupant rate, but things are going to change. And, there's a chance in the future they won't lend to you if you have 4 rentals and you want to buy a owner-occupied house with 3.5% down. I lived in an environment like that. You have not seen one yet, but I have seen one where if you have more than 4 rentals, you will not get a loan unless you put down 20% as owner-occupant. So let's appreciate that lending can change and not set unrealistic expectations. Next, you talk about the goal of getting to $3 million, then buying something at 7% kind of thing. Why would you do that? Why would you pay taxes on the sale? Why would you give up depreciation, which could be probably $100,000 a year, depending on how many assets you bought? It's not about some gross number. Yes, $210,000 sounds great, which is 3 million times 7%, by the way. But if that's fully taxed, is it the same thing as 180K with depreciation, right? Because you spend it net, you spend post-tax. So let's not forget that. And then the last thing, you talked about, hey, you can write a $3 million check today. Congratulations. Not many people in their 20s, frankly, not many people on the planet can write a $3 million check, so you should be proud of that. Nothing to be embarrassed about. You deserve a huge kudos. I frankly couldn't write that check. But keep in mind, I don't want to have that kind of cash sitting around. I want my cash working, right, in real estate and producing returns. So the other thing that I think is interesting, and I don't know if you see it yet, but you're following kind of the early Grant Cardone model where you're hustling like a fiend. You're awesome. But you're selling education and you're selling events. And that's really what Grant was doing 10 years ago. And then he was taking his excess cash and buying real estate, which is what you do. Now you're buying houses, he was buying units, and obviously Grant has exploded because now his reputation and Cardone Capital, all of that. But I don't think it should be lost on anyone that you're, I don't know, purposely or not, probably not, but you seem to be following in Grant Cardone's shoes or path, which is great. He's almost a billionaire. So there's no judgment there, but just realize that some of the shots that you take at him, you're following early Grant, and early Grant's great, right? When he was just being education and grinding and helping and doing all those things. So, in the end, I think the goal of inspiring people to see that financial independence is great. You can get there in 9 to 15 years. I think it's horrible advice to hold break-even properties because I have seen market cycles wipe you out. I've seen lending change. So just be careful. And also, let's do a better job of, yes, 80K golden tickets, cosmetic fixers, value add can be had in Southern California, but it can't be had in 90% of the country. So let's appreciate what everybody's doing. So again, I wanted to record this live. Hopefully I didn't come across angry or anything. I really am just trying to help. I think MeetKevin is awesome. He was gracious enough to be interviewed on this channel talking about going from Jamba Juice to being a millionaire. Check it out. I'm actually going to link below his video that I watched at the gym that kind of sparked this live presentation, just so you could see it and let me know if I missed something. And maybe I heard it wrong. I didn't listen to it twice. I just sort of rushed home, took some notes, and shared this with you. So, all right, everybody, take care. Have a great day.